Well, good evening and welcome to our final scheduled installment of Pastor on the Porch for the year 2021. Coming to you live from 149 Studios, as I've been calling it over this last month, as I've had the lights going and the inflatables inflated and the spirit in the air. Last night we celebrated with our Blue Christmas, and I want to thank all that were able to make it out for that service. And Friday night we will celebrate with a Christmas Eve candlelight with quite a bit of special music. We have got some solos. We've got a solo, we've got a duet, and we've got some congregational hymn. So looking forward to Friday evening. That will begin at 8 p.m. at Mount Lebanon, and we'll also stream live here on Mount Lebanon's Facebook page. But as we come into this season, these last few days of the Advent season, I'm reminded of how chaotic this season really is. Today, I spent the day running around doing errands and going to the office for a while, and then coming home and grabbing the dogs and taking them for boarding so we can go on vacation the week following Christmas. And it's just everything seems so chaotic in our lives right now. The shopping, if you haven't been shopping in the last couple of days, bless you. It is a zoo out there. I went up to the Bridford Parkway corridor yesterday to help out my brother as he was getting ready for our trip up north. And let's just say by the end of it, we were both looking at each other saying there are too many people out here. So we decided it was too people-y, and we were done for the day. So, and that was only about an hour into it. So there's a lot going on in our world today. And when I brought up our devotion that we've been following from Kate Bowler, who was, for those of you that don't know, is a professor at Duke University, and I never got the blessing of having her as a professor, as she was out on medical leave when I was physically there. So, but I have been blessed by her books and by her devotions that she writes for Lent and for Advent and for other times of the year in which we just need to stop and reflect. And tonight's lesson and it's really a blessing. Tonight's devotional from her is a blessing for a chaotic season. Blessed are we, the fearful, though we long to be people of peace. We cannot lie. We are afraid. Afraid there won't be enough resources, enough time, enough memories. Wow, that rings true. Blessed are we who ask you for wisdom. Show us what to turn from and what to set aside. Come, Lord, that we might see you, move with you, keep pace with you. Blessed are we who ask that this Advent we might dwell together quietly in our homes. Come, Lord, that we might be for others the peace that they are unable to give. Blessed are we who look to you and say, God, truly we are troubled and afraid. Come, govern our hearts and calm our fears. O Prince of Peace, still our restless selves, calm our ancient heart, and anxious hearts, quiet our busy minds. Amen. Our Lego Advent wreath has had the fourth candle lit. Peace, hope, peace, joy, and now love. We're reminded each and every year as we light these candles where we as Christians are to fall. Have hope in our lives, have hope in the Lord, have hope in the birth of Jesus Christ, have peace in and through Jesus Christ, who walks with us, talks to us each and every day, guides us as we go through this broken world in which we oftentimes do not know exactly where that next step is going to be. The joy of knowing that we are a connected family that allows us to spread that joy even further than we ever thought. And peace. To have a moment in our lives in which we are able to have quietness. And as our devotion read tonight, quiet all of those, I would say even demons in our minds that provide the anxiety, the anxiousness, the fear, the worry, those moments in our mind in which we find ourselves falling and going away from the Lord and living into the world, and how the world has taught us to act, how the world has taught us to live, how the world has taught us to be. And we are called to let those things that burden us so much be released to the Lord. That the Lord's yoke is much stronger than any yoke that we could ever hold, or even an ox could hold. And yet we as human beings, as beings of this earth, continue to take on and hold that anxiety in our hearts, in our minds, and in our souls, so much so that it interacts and interferes with our being able to live the life that Christ has called us to live. So what happens when we are able to fully release that from our minds, our hearts, our souls? I wish I could tell you, because I'm not sure that I've ever been able to do that. Something is always racing in my mind. Something is always going on in my head. So much so that oftentimes I can't get to sleep at night, or if I do get to sleep, I'll wake up 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night thinking these thoughts that have nothing to do with anything going on that really matters. Instead, it's, did I shut that light off? Or did I hear a noise? Or did I feel somebody move? And those moments in my life interfere with how I live. Now, if I was able to fully let go of all of those moments, I would be fully living into how Christ asks us to live. Free of worry, free of anxiety, free of doubt, free of all things in this world and living into, instead, the world that He calls us into. A world that is much simpler. This season, this day, this birth that we are about to celebrate, just days away, we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. A birth that took place not in a hospital, not even in a home, but in a storage area for animals. A birth that takes place among two unwed parents who would, under today's definitions, be considered refugees or aliens of a nation or a city or a town. A birth that is so simple that we don't hear of all of the complications that we hear about births today. A birth that was a miracle of conception for Mary. A birth in which Mary was told by the angels that was coming into her body. And the angels prefaced it with, "Do not be afraid." Each and every time the angels speak, in our scriptures in the gospel particularly, they preface, "Do not be afraid." There's something to that. There's something to that. In this most magical, mysterious time of year, with the birth of Jesus Christ, we are called to not be afraid. Not be afraid of what is to come. Not be afraid of what has happened. Not be afraid of where we find ourselves in that story. As we enter into the final couple days of Advent, I offer these words. The words of the angel Gabriel, "Do not be afraid." The words that we've been studying throughout this season of hope, love, joy, and peace. Words that have so deep of meaning. And when we not only enable ourselves to hear those words, but live into those words, then we are truly living into the life of Christ. And as we enter into this season following Christmas, when the wise men come on Epiphany, we have Transfiguration. We enter into a time in which we study the life of Jesus Christ. And this year, through the Gospel of Luke, one of my favorite Gospels, primarily because of the Christmas story. We enter into a time in which we reflect over this past year. We enter into a time in which we mourn this past year. We enter into a time in which we wonder what the next year is to bring. And we wonder, and we sometimes fear and worry what tomorrow will bring. As we go through these next couple of days, let us not worry about tomorrow. Let us focus on today. Let's not fear what may or may not happen. Let us focus on today. and let us feel the birth of Christ and what that means to us as Christians each and every moment throughout this next week. Amen, by the way. I got word that Bill Lineberry today is doing much better, and they were hoping that in the not too distant future that he would be home, possibly as early as later this week. So the Christmas miracle there. Please do also give him some privacy, and he is still a little weak, so know that he may not be up to phone calls and such. So. Or visits quite yet. So, but continue to be in prayer. Be in prayer for all those this season that are experiencing loss for the first time. First time they're experiencing Christmas morning without that faithful family member. Be in prayer for each and every one that is traveling, including myself, this Christmas season. Allow traveling mercies to rain out upon us as we go about these roads and these airways and these rails and whatever methods of travel that are taking place. For me, it will be roads. Be with families that are disconnected, whether it be by space, whether it be by distance, whether it be by hurt. Be with those families this season. But most of all, just be in prayer for our congregational families and all that has happened over these last few years and what continues to happen in these years in this time that we're living right now. None of us ever thought we would be celebrating our second Christmas in the midst of a pandemic. But we are. So friends, be safe, be knowledgeable, do what is right, do what you feel is needed to be done, and don't be afraid that if something just doesn't seem quite right, allow yourself to exit. So I say all this to tell you, thank you for an amazing year. This ministry continues to grow. Who knew that a little over almost 2 years ago, me sitting out here with a cell phone would evolve to what it has today. But it continues to be an amazing ministry that I continue to move in and be moved by. So I can't wait to see what next year brings you. And like I said, this is my last scheduled Pastor on the Porch. I don't know, but if there's snow on the ground, I might tune in for a quick one from Michigan. But if not, blessings to all. May you have a Merry Christmas season. May you find peace, love, hope, and joy in each and every encounter you have. And may you find yourself not worrying, not anxious, not fearful, not anything, but instead be with Jesus, be in the birth, be with our light, and be aware of our light, Jesus Christ. Amen.